When I first entered college, I was a total slacker. I didn't get anything done. I was in danger of flunking out of every class that I had. And it was never this hard in high school, but I never tried. I never had to. My morale was at an all-time low. This air of superiority I'd built up from being in high school and everything coming easy was shattering, and I didn't know what to do. I thought I was going to have to drop out and move back home to my parents. I was lonely. The person on a pedestal never meets anyone, but my pedestal was crumbling, and I didn't know what to do. I was so used to being on high that I didn't know how to deal with anyone else. I was pessimistic, I was aggressive, I was antisocial. I didn't even know how to communicate with people, or so I thought. No matter what I did, I just pushed everyone away. This is when I found the student government, a group that interested me, but I was nowhere near ready for them to do everything they did for me. I mocked them. I thought they would be just like the people from high school, the uppity snobs that thought they were better than everyone else. I decided to stick around, mostly out of boredom, more so than anything. I hated it at home, I hated it at school, but at least here, by mocking those around me, I could at least get a few good laughs in. This is when I realized they had some really interesting people there. I began to actually like some of them and call some of them my friends. One day, near the end of the semester, a friend that I'd made there, who I then found out was the president of the Student Government Association, slid me an application. I was stunned. I looked at her, then I looked at the application, then I looked at her again, and I laughed out loud. Then I realized she was serious, and then I laughed so hard I fell right out of my chair. After a lot of peer pressure, I was convinced to sign it and apply. I would never admit it, but I was actually really excited. I thought I was ready for them to change my life and help me become the new me. Soon after, I found out that my interview was already scheduled. I began prepping immediately. I couldn't believe it. They actually liked what I had to offer. The night before the interview, I found out that my position was expunged. They no longer needed me. I was crushed, defeated, but I found out that they would still hold the interview for me, just so that I can get some interview practice. It was a kick. It was kind of felt like I was being kicked while I was down, but I accepted and went. During the interview, I found out that I was horrible. I had no marketable skills. I was a pessimist, a failure, and those were all things that I said. I couldn't even think of a strength that I had, or any reason why they would hire me. It's a miracle they saw anything in me at all. About a month after, I got a call at 7 a.m. waking me up. I answered with a, "Who's this?" The person on the other end of the line said only one sentence. "Do you still wish to join the Student Government Association?" I sprang awake. I answered with a resounding, "Yes! Yes, please, yes!" She told me to cancel everything I had planned that week, which was nothing. the training would start in 2 days. When I arrived at the training, I immediately realized that I was the odd man out. These people were so goal-oriented, so focused, so driven. I knew that I didn't belong here, and I immediately started looking for my way out. As I got further into the training, it was very apparent that other people felt just as lost, just as confused as me. This eased my tension considerably, and I began to actually open up and get close to these people. I found out that my personality wasn't the narcissistic, nihilistic jerk. I was a goofball. I was fun. And I loved every second of it. They encouraged me to find out who I was. Soon, I began to think of this group not as a team, but as a family. We laughed together, we cried together, we worked together. We were more a family than my own family was. My introverted nature was tested almost immediately in this team. My first assignment was to sit down next to this girl who was peacefully studying and promote student government. I was shocked. I didn't think I had the right to do something like that, to talk to another person without them talking to me first. Oh, how wrong I was. My shell broke. My goofball nature rapidly grew. I finally figured out who I was. I figured out it was okay to be different. It was okay to be fun and bubbly. My pessimism all but gone. My slacker tendencies were still there, but I can still work on it. I was finally figuring out who I was. I even played the role of a jester in a student production. I jumped around with bells all over me, running around the campus promoting the event and the play. It's still one of my most fond memories of my time in student government. I realized I was not an introvert anymore. I was an extrovert. I loved people, and I couldn't wait to be around people in a crowd. I would never have imagined myself in this position. I gained a tight-knit group of friends with whom I could share everything, and found out that I was fine talking to almost anybody. I could even be considered a social butterfly, as odd as that sounds. SGA changed my life. I went from a quiet, nihilistic, antisocial jerk to a fun-loving social butterfly in such a short time. They changed my life for the better. If they hadn't done what they did, I likely wouldn't be in college right now. I might even not be around. I cannot thank them enough for everything that they did for me.